Hey guys, welcome to Unit 3, 6th grade, first quarter. So I'm going to show you real quickly how to get to these slide decks. Documents, 6th grade, new digital unit overviews. That's where you can find these. They are also linked to the enhanced pacing calendar, and I'm sure that's how you got here the first time. But if you want to just go straight to these slide decks, new digital unit overviews. I'm going to open that. And you'll see they're broken down by quarters. So we're going to start with Unit 3, Grade 6. All right, so this unit is over operations with positive fractions and decimals. The TEKS covered in this unit are the essential readiness standard is 6.3E, multiply and divide positive rational numbers. Then there are 3 supporting standards, 2E, 3A, and 3B. So unpacking the standards. I've given you a link to the TRS, Enhanced TEKS Clarification. So if you really want to get and drill down into these standards, use this link. It'll take you to TRS and you'll be able to see these standards and a lot of examples on these standards so you can see how these are going to be tested on STAR. So here's the essential readiness standard. Multiply and divide positive rational numbers. The breakdown for this standard is the knowledge. These are the nouns. Positive rational numbers of fractions, decimals, integers, percents, and the percents can be converted to fractions and or decimals. The skills, these are going to be the verbs. So multiply, positive integers, fractions, and decimals. Divide, positive integers, fractions, and decimals, and including percents because they are converted into fractions and decimals. The one conceptual understanding we want students to have from this unit is be able to multiply and divide positive fractions and decimals fluently without technology. So that's our conceptual understanding for this essential readiness standard. Here are some questions from past STAR tests, the 24 test. This was just the most recent one. Okay. If you look down in the presenter notes down here at the bottom, students most likely guessed if they got this incorrect. We're looking at the percentage that each student picked for the state, and so we're looking for misconceptions. So misconceptions will be listed in these presenter notes. So we're moving on into 2022, and we stop with 2022. That was the last year of the old STAR format. 23 is when the new STAR questions began. So that's all the readiness, essential readiness standard 6.3E. Now we have a supporting standard, which is extending representations for division using the different types of notation. So division is the noun, dividing, and the skills, long division, dividing fractions to get decimals, and division notation. The conceptual understanding, use long division to divide integers, fractions, and decimals. It hasn't been tested since 2022, so just be aware of that, and 85% of the state got it correct. Then we've got our 3A supporting standard, dividing by a rational number and multiplying by its reciprocal result in equivalent values. I'm not going to read this to you. I'm pretty sure you can look and see how this is working. It was tested in 2024 with only 24% of students getting this correct. So this may be a supporting standard where we really want to touch on it, although it may not be tested this year because it did skip 2023 and it went to 2022. So it was tested in 2022, again in 2024. So it may or may not be tested this year. And then 3B, determine whether a value or a quantity increases or decreases when multiplied by a fraction. So does it get bigger or does it get smaller? It was tested in 2023 on a match table grid. So this has been done as a STAR 2.0 question. Only 32% of the students in the state of Texas got full credit on this. Then it was tested in 2022. This standard was not tested in 2024. Vertical alignment. So this is a new component we're adding to our documents, We want to show you where these things kind of start, where these standards start, and we're only doing vertical alignment of the readiness or essential readiness standards. So if you look at 3E, you notice it does go back to a 4th grade readiness standard, and then we're providing that standard and then an example of a STAR question. 5th grade, it's covered again with a STAR question, and it is covered in 7th grade as well. So if you are extending or accelerating some students because they're getting this information and doing well, here's the 7th grade standard you can extend into. Language supports, it's also new. We're giving you some question stems that are appropriate for this unit. So which expression is equivalent to, determine the value, what was the total, order the rational numbers. That's for the whole unit. Data. And this data goes from 2022 to 2024. And we'll look at that essential readiness standard. So we notice on the District 1, the District Quarter 1 assessment in 2022, 45% of students got this correct. And on the state test that year, 68% of Grand Prairie students got that correct. So we are growing. In 2023, it was the same as the District 1 sum and the state test for that year. Last year, on the District 2 sum, 39% went up to 58% on the state test. So teachers were not going down on this standard. We're actually probably improving. And that means that our district assessment is probably testing this at a pretty good rigor for the state test. Common misconceptions. And these are things that students could make mistakes on. So please read through these so that you can anticipate some questions or some errors that the students may be making. Now here's your pacing for the unit. The unit is going to cover 11 days. That does have 2 days of map testing in this unit. And we also have the first day of school. So that's going to be a building relationships day. We're not covering content. And then we're doing 6.2a, classifying numbers. It is a supporting standard. And again, that is not part of Unit 3. So we have 3 days for 6.3e, and then 1 day for each of the supporting standards. But we also have 6.3e blended in, spiraled back in. We are going to cover a majority of the time in 6.3e because that is the essential readiness standard for this unit. Vocabulary. So there's your vocabulary. Instructional strategies. So on this slide, we're giving you some strategies that you can implement in your class and examples of those from this unit. So we've got some building thinking classrooms, BTC. These are on the calendar as warm-ups, and they can be used to scaffold practice problems as well. So if you click on these examples, you're going to get a link to that, to one of those activities to kind of see what they look like. We're also adding in those lead forward activities. So here's a 9 square, and the directions are on the document, so you can see how to do that. And then a justified list, which is a true false. We also have a STAR 2.0 match table grid, since that's how that one supporting standard was tested. I haven't seen any other STAR 2.0 style questions in this unit. And then we have a couple of Desmos curriculum. So you can look at that Desmos curriculum. We really like it because it's digital, but it also is paired with paper resources. Resource showcase. So here is our new resource for the year. It's going to be Carnegie. Every middle school student will have a license to Carnegie, and we really like their slide decks. So the slide decks are kind of an all-encompassing unit. And oops, I lost that. So when you open these, if you will simply make a copy, go up to File, click Make Copy, entire presentation. And when you click that, it will go into your Google Drive. Once it's in your Google Drive, guys, it's yours. And you can take out any of the pieces that you don't like. So these start with a warm-up. There are the learning goals and key terms, the essential question for this slide deck. And then it starts with a hands-on activity that we have linked here as well. So if you click on the image, You can print out this card sort and use it. Then we've got some practice problems or some front-loading problems. Now remember, this standard started back in the 4th grade at this rigor level, so you should be able to jump right in at a 6th grade level. So let's see where we are. So there are 6 questions that go through the front-loading practice. Then we got a little bit of classifying numbers here, which was at the beginning of this unit. You can take this classifying numbers part out if you don't think you need to review that. Then we've got some number line work. So anything in here that you are not liking, just delete those slides. It does end with a exit ticket. So this is a 6-question exit ticket, just answering true or false. So that's what the Carnegie slide decks are like. Again, make a copy, read through the slide deck, delete out the slides that you don't think you can use, because these slide decks are actually longer than a 45-minute class. So you're going to be able to pick the parts that you like and delete out the parts that you don't like. So those are the slide decks, and I've given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in this unit. Intervention and extension activities. So we've given you these on a specific date. These dates correspond to days on the calendar where the focus is a supporting standard. If your students are struggling with the readiness standard, on the day of the supporting standard, you can run an intervention lesson, probably in groups. And here is the lesson for intervention. All the intervention lessons go back to essential readiness standards. Those are the standards we really want the kids to get before they finish the class. So on these days, there will be 3 activities: an intervention, that is the readiness standard, an on-level activity, that is the supporting standard, and then an extension activity, which is going to be a 7th grade standard. So you could actually pull your kids into 3 groups based on data and run an intervention group, run an on-level group, and run an extension group. I wouldn't use that language, but that's teacher language for you. So let me kind of show you what that looks like on the calendar real quick. So let me find one of those days. So Marty gave me a note here. So on 8/20, the intervention lesson is that 6.3E. The on-level supporting standard, this is going to be the supporting standard. The main focus of the day is 3B, and then extension. If you really think the kids are doing really well, after they complete the supporting standard, then they could go into the 7th grade standard. We don't want to lose those supporting standards for those kiddos, because that's what moves them from approaching to meets and meets to mastery. So if you look on all of those win days, the what I need days, we have intervention, on level, and extension. Please remember, extension is only if they complete the on level activity. So you can see these as we move. You'll find them periodically throughout your calendar, and the colors and the highlighting will be the same throughout the calendar. So hopefully that helps. All right, guys, thank you very much. This slide will be updated with the current secondary math team. Take care, guys. Bye.